5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're live with Neve. This is Live with Neve. Iconic musicians, comedy, and God knows what else. Hold on!
All right. Excuse me, how's everybody doing? You're here live with Neve. I am high in the Highlands today, very much so, enjoying the benefits of legalized marijuana. I'm totally kidding you. Look at me, my shirts. This is what happens to you when you have the horrors of drugs. You end up waking up in strange places and with your clothes torn and asunder, and you feel kind of weird. This is just the kind of walk-in that my next guest is going to appreciate. I'm not a big one for blowing smoke up people's ass. And I will tell you, my next guest, you've heard her songs, you've heard her voice, you've seen her work or heard it. And she's not only a cool chick, but she's a cool chick. And what I mean by that, a lot of musicians, some people are, you don't know what to expect. Most people I meet who are really talented are super nice, and that's why they're in the business and succeed. And Emiko has survived because her talent's exceptional. But really, you dig beyond the talent, it's the people skills. I'm going to bring her on. We're going to be talking about all the cool stuff she's done, whether it's writing music for pop stars, whether it's writing music for scores of music. I'm going to let her tell you all about it. You can see below, or you will see shortly, Emiko Music. And I suggest, if you have not heard of her, just go check it out when the show's over. I'm going to post a bunch of links. And when we post this, after it's done and it's done live, we will typically add some things like contact information for our guests. So if you're sitting down, I suggest go get yourself your preferred beverage. I prefer Pepsi, usually with a splash of lemon. On that note, here's Julie.
Product placement. How much do we get for that?
What happened?
I said product placement. How much do we get for that?
Oh, I don't know. I'll tell you what, I'm going to have my greasy lawyer's going to have to look into that one. I would love to have Pepsi, guys. In fact, Coke, if you're watching, if you pay me enough, it is product placement. I'm doing them a favor. But, Coke, if you really want to be generous and show me what a good friend you are, you can send my preferred entertainment to the Roxy in New York. But at any rate, that's a whole other topic. Getting back to Em, she's a tremendous talent, and I'm going to let her tell you who she's played with. And first, when we bring her on, we're just going to talk about how she got here. So without much ado, good afternoon.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Man, I am feeling great. I just feel like it's so good to be alive. And
you look good, man. You look really good, man.
It looks great. I feel, it's cold out. I'm looking at the water. It's a beautiful day. It's a little colder. I'm really envious of you guys because every morning I get up to look at what you're doing and what I'm doing. And I go, Although Friday last week, somebody in Florida, it was like 25 here. My brother sent me a note, said it's like 21 degrees.
Yeah.
I said, it's only 24 here. And, I was like, you don't have any snow, but that is a good part of everybody living out on your coast. I love it.
What's funny is we talked about that a couple days ago, and then I went to walk my dog this morning, and literally I have mountains right outside my window, and they're snow-capped and covered in clouds. And I went, really? Today, when it's supposed to be sunny and I'm supposed to do the sunny LA thing, it's like, nope, it's cloudy and 40.
Yeah. We had I like it when we get snow in New York. It just mucks everything up. And before COVID, when we weren't working at home, it was like I would just, my girlfriend would call in and say, well, I'm sorry, I can't come in. I can work from home, but my car won't make it down the mountain because she drives a Jaguar. And when it ices up here, that wind or hill may not have snow, but it's all black ice.
Yeah,
so
right.
You go down, it's like, all of a sudden you're spinning out. So it works good. And I love the quiet, the ambient noise changes when it gets so quiet. I want to go outside and do voiceovers in that real way. Yes, here we are, James Earl Jones. We're talking about Emiko live. You know, it's that kind of day. I just want to run
Right.
around. My neighbors already know I'm weird with field recordings and stuff. Somehow when I show up with a microphone late at night by their window, they get all kind of upset. And I just don't understand. I'm just sharing in the fun and the love.
Right.
Anyway,
Of course.
let's just, I'm going to just give you the floor. How did you start playing music? I know a lot of these details, but just tell our audience, how did you start this ride? I mean, where, when? It's pretty fascinating, guys. I'm gonna get out of the picture here.
No, come back.
Oh,
Come back,
no, okay. I'm here.
I need to talk to
libations.
is that what's going on?
Oh yeah,
Wait, I only have water in my Minnie Mouse glass.
I'll bring you a Pepsi if you'd like.
That's cool, man. Thanks. That's so thoughtful of you. You'll be here in like 11 and a half hours. I can wait. I'm good.
I love it.
It'll probably be warm by then, but that's not to worry. I'm trying to think. My start was kind of unorthodox. I started when I was really little. I was told, and although I don't remember a lot of it, I was told that I was playing by the time I was about 2.
Wow.
And I was told I was playing by the time I was 2. I was playing like parts of Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker Suite, and I'm just going to answer Toby Simmons and say yes, Robbie is my brother. I love Robbie Robinson. He's great. We do a lot of work together. And so they sort of, my parents decided that, okay, she's not normal, for lack of a better term. She's not normal.
My folks did the same thing. They actually left me at the train station and moved to Ohio.
Yeah, my mom was like, we're going to drop you off at a music conservatory and have fun. Bye now. And that was kind of that. Yes, brother Gary Swan is a good friend of mine as well. Wow, Toby, you know all my people, man. So I started playing when I was really young, and I do remember. I remember sitting on my parents' floor one evening. We only had black and white TV, and I was watching Mikhail Baryshnikov dance with the Bolshoi Ballet, I think it was, and he was dancing Swan Lake, and I remember having this.
I remember that from that time period. I'm older than you, but yeah.
It was for like a week. It was like a tremendous. I had this incredible physical. My dad told me I kept butt scooting up to the front of the TV, like trying almost to get in it. And basically, I just remember carrying this feeling of I want to do that. And I think a lot of little girls, not to go into the gender gap thing, but a lot of little girls would want to be on stage dancing.
Right.
And I was thinking, let me into the pit. I'll play that. And I just remember being so moved by the music. I want to make people dance like that. I want to make people jump in the air and do beautiful things and, so on and so forth. And so my folks started me off. My first instrument was actually Baroque harpsichord. Weirdly enough, it was not piano. It was Baroque harpsichord. And then
yes, I remember those.
Yeah. Oh, were you there? Were you there?
I was around. I've like owned all this old stuff that now is worth millions. It's like, I wish I hadn't have sold that.
No kidding. It's I started as a Baroque harpsichordist, and then I was learning piano concurrently pretty quickly, and then after that got into just keyboards and obviously Hammond and Keytar.
Oh yes. Well, while we're talking about it, let's tell for our people out there who are just civilians, as I say.
Yes.
Tell us about. I know what a Keytar is, and I've seen you play it. I mean, shit. You're a little above my pay grade, though, for anything I need. That's okay. I'm going to change that around. Be bringing you up, baby. Be working on the show.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, in my dream world, I'm going to hire you to run my pit band. We're going to run it out of New York, and it's going to kill. I'm telling you.
Are you kidding?
Now that would be fun. I'm working on it. I keep telling people, hey, I'm here. I've been here 10 years and I haven't got kicked out yet. So I'm here for the duration until I make a little more money. I'm going to head back to Florida, stay here and out by you guys, and a little stop in the hinterland in Nashville. And I'm kind of like, I love it here. I love it to death, but it's time to get some time in the sun,
Yeah,
I
man.
moved here from Florida, had to come here for work, and I love it here. I grew up here, and but now I want to see my kids, my grandkids, my parents, and that's why I didn't move to LA last time. 3,600 miles drive versus 1,700 from New York, roughly.
Yeah, it's
And unless you've got the coin, I just didn't. I see pre-COVID. I saw my family on a regular basis. But boy,
Right.
this is just the craziest time. Let's talk Keytar. That is a gorgeous one. I know has a history. So lay it out for us.
This is Carlos. Ooh, hold on. This is Carlos's strap.
I'm just going wide for now because
so that way everybody can see the mess on my studio floor.
Oh, well, you know what? Hey, I don't want to show you guys what we're in here. It looks very attractive on camera, but I have two drum sets. There's guitars and crap and wires, and it looks like backstage at the Letterman show.
So this is Carlos. Carlos is he's the only one in the world. He's a custom Alesis Wireless Vortex 2. Although Carlos does have a twin sister named Carlotta, who lives at my house in Las Vegas. And Carlotta is a pink and purple version of this.
Yes.
And Carlos is, he's a sweet little beast. I love him because he's been, we were requested I started making these Keytar videos because I don't know why, but I've basically always felt like Keytar players have been the underdog. And
sure.
I'm here to set the record straight and say, Keytar isn't back. It never left.
Right.
And Keytar players are badass. Okay. They're not cheesy. I know they had this reputation in the 80s. I get that part. Whatever. But if you actually listen to what they're doing and you actually watch what they're playing, it's some badass stuff that's going on. So anyway, I started making videos and then got in touch. I guess Alesis got in touch with me. And then we started working together. And then Carlos was born, as it were.
All right.
And then this past year, actually, funnily enough, in the pandemic, I got a call from my agent and she was like, hey, listen, Major Lazer wants you in their video. And I was like, doing what? Like,
yeah, right.
What? He said, yeah, they're doing this song with Marcus Mumford from Mumford & Sons called, the song's called Lay Your Head on Me. And it's this really cool video where they're asking people to film stuff remotely because of COVID. So you won't be able to be on set, but they want you to film in somewhere really bizarre and unorthodox. And I went, well, I'm stuck at home. There's really nowhere for me to go. And so they had me film. I have this riser on my pool, and they had me stand above my pool wearing an entire denim suit.
Right.
And playing,
I think I've seen pictures
Carlos.
of it.
It was the funniest thing I had ever done. And it's great. And now people request, it's so funny because when I get called to do keyboard work, they say, but we want Keytar. And I go, right, but you understand that Carlos is a controller. I can play what I play on Carlos on a keyboard. No, but we want Keytar work. We just want, just do it on the Keytar, take a video of yourself, send it to us. So people want Carlos.
Oh.
And I love that because
I love it too because it's like Keith Emerson. I remember him dragging around something like a Wurlitzer piano like you have in your studio with a strap around his back. And Keith was a big guy. Right. The damn thing would be like down to your knees. And you wouldn't be dancing like you usually do. I mean, I kind of puts a style when you got an 80-pound child hanging around your neck. Yeah.
Well, most recently I moved, I have a Hammond M series and I have a Hammond A series.
Nice.
And the M series is downstairs in my living room. And I went to pick up a Leslie and I drove that in the back trunk, sticking out of the trunk of a Hyundai Sonata.
Jeez.
That
reminds me of,
and I was like,
it's like when we were young. I love it because I can just see you purring along in your little car and looking at LA traffic and everybody going, oh, who's this cool chick with this? What is that thing in the back of her car?
It was, my girlfriend came with me and I thank goodness that she was there because I really had this moment of like, if this thing falls out of the trunk, because it's only just, hello, kitchen. If it's just kind of harnessed in there, right? There was enough give. And the place where I picked it up from another Hammond artist, Dr. Gail Surden, she didn't strap it in all the way. And she goes, oh, well, you'll have the wind in your favor. So you don't need anything to hold it in. She neglected to tell me the ride home was uphill the entire way. And I was like, the whole time. And I called her when I got home and I said, Dr. Gail, and she goes, I didn't want to tell you, you would have freaked out. And I went, I freaked out. And she goes, it's okay, you got it home. I knew you would. I have faith. I was like, I said, you shortened my life.
It's funny because as a kid, when I was a drummer, my mom had a Honda Civic.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was in junior high school. I started pretty young, not like you. I'm pretty good at what I do, but I didn't start at 2. I started at like 5 or 7, and I've been insane ever since. And I love it. I will do this till the day I die, whether I'm making money or not. When I've made money, it's great. I have like times that you don't make money. Hopefully you have enough put by. But I know so many musicians, it's not something people get into for money. The people who make money, it happens. Right. But there's millions of us. We love it. People delay getting that job, going to college because they want to be a musician. And there's a lot of great people who aren't on the public eye, but like people like us, we started young. I know anybody I know who I like respect, even if they're not a gifted, like they don't have to be a technician, but if they've got that mojo or something in their soul that you can pick up on.
Right.
I mean, music's like the only thing. Tom Petty said it's the only really healing element. And I agree with him because when I've had the worst times of my life dealing with real messed up things, periods. Yeah. Every time I'd always just either be sitting around noodling on my guitar. I'm a shitty guitar player, but I'm a drummer by birth and DNA. Right. Yeah. So, and as far as singing, I'm not a particularly talented singer, but I've been screwed enough times at gigs where some prima donna didn't show up. And I'm starting in my 20s, 18, and I got screwed a few times. And the first or second time, I think the third time, I just said, this shit is not going to happen again. I had been singing, but usually like a song a set.
Yeah.
And I just said, forget it. I'm going to work really hard. I'm not going to stick it down my band's throat. I know I don't have a 4-octave range, but when I sing, my pitch is good. I know what I'm doing. I choose the material right. I don't believe in auto-tuning. Let me. Some things you auto-tune not really for the effect of the pitch, but for that pop effect so many use where it's just lathered on. And that to me is not my favorite thing, but it works for that style of music. And I'd like to have a great singer who comes in and there's just a mic up and a nice tube compressor, something sweet and flaky, and run it. And ask you, well, you want to hear something, you want some echo in your headphones.
Right.
So you feel like good feel. You're sitting there, it's just like natural, sitting at home. We sit there, Len, and tear our hair out mixing and arguing over plate verb number 7. It's a little less grainy on the top end. The sample started to cramp. And anyhow, so after these young days in your life, when did you first make the transition, move to LA and start realizing, wow, I'm just making a great living? Or in the years in between, did you start doing gigs as a teenager?
Yeah. So first of all, hi, Patrick, from Hammond, Sweden. So I just want to say, hey, Patrick, good to see you. I got to shout out my Ham fam because,
hell yeah.
They're everything. So I started playing professionally as a kid. I was doing a lot of classical stuff. I performed for a lot of like heads of state and like diplomats and stuff like that. And then
you did grow up in DC, right?
I grew up partially in DC, and then I moved to New York, and that's really where I spent the bulk of my life, actually, between there and Japan. And I'm trying to think, my first gig, I stopped going to school my last full year of school was 7th grade. And then I stopped going because my parents were like, yeah, the whole sitting in the classroom for 8 hours a day thing, you're not really good at that. You're really good at music.
Yes.
You kind of stand to make some money at that. So maybe you gotta do that instead. And I'm very lucky that I had supportive parents because my dad was my road manager for 2 years. He was the executive producer on my first record. He knows nothing about music at all. But he's a writer. He's a novelist, and his mother was a graduate from the Juilliard School and was a ghost composer and a conductor in the 50s. So there's music in my family. So I'm trying to think. I toured a lot. I did a lot of college tours. I did a lot of like indie stuff. I played various festivals and did all this stuff. And then I only moved to LA like 6 years ago. And I had been traveling back and forth from New York to Los Angeles, actually, because I started HTV, which is Hammond Organ's online television network. And I produced it with our beloved and unfortunately late Greg Gronowski, who was our director of marketing. And he was just such a champion of artists. And I just went back and forth, and then finally I landed here permanently because all of my time was being spent on an airplane.
Right.
And I found that LA for me was really, in a lot of ways, where my heart was. And things the transition was not as smooth. There was a divorce, there was a custody battle, there's a few personal things that, but ultimately, I think, not just as an artist and not just as a person, but as a parent, like the best example you can give a child is you as a parent being a healthy, well-rounded, balanced person who is successful, who is morally in line, ethically, morally in line with your core values, living your dreams, making your dreams a reality, and not showing the example of, hey, you're going to end up in the rat race and all you do is pay taxes and die. Like, who needs that? Nobody needs that.
I know, what a down, buzzkill that is, for sure.
It's a total downer. So even though things are a little bit tricky right now, is the best way I can put it. The idea that I'm able to provide for my child and my family in this way is I think is a rare blessing. And really, LA, the culture of Los Angeles has had a lot to do with it in terms of economics and in terms of logistics and availability of work, and I think just the mindset of the community here, of the industry, is different. Like, I love New York, and New York's always going to be, definitely one of my homes. But if I were to do the same thing that I'm doing here in New York City, I'd be living in a 1-bedroom apartment or a studio, charging 5 times the money, living hand to mouth. And now it's a totally different thing, So economically, it seems to make more sense.
I agree, and I notice here in the New York City area, a lot of the people who are in the upper echelons, a lot of them are living up in Woodstock and various Connecticut.
Yes, right.
And all of the people who, like here in New Jersey, I can walk down the hill, walk down the street, and in 10 minutes be at the ferry. I'd be in Manhattan in 40 minutes. And it's a great thing. To drive into the city, people always bitch about Los Angeles and the traffic, and it is crazy. And like whenever I drive there and I bring somebody who has never lived there or driven there or spent any time, I kind of chat them up like, hey, you ever been to LA, man? And I go, and they're like, well, no, I've never made it. And I said, so you've never been to California? They're like, no. I go, okay, that's cool. We land in Burbank, and I'm like, hey, don't worry, my rental car's there, and I'm going to teach you how to drive in California. And then they ride with me, and they go out of their mind. Like, I remember driving from Burbank out to Palm Springs.
Oh, my gosh.
And it was like during the day, and I wanted to be doing like 120 like you would at night with the top down. I had a nice car. And I'm like, we got out of the airport, and his eyes were like, he was freaking out. He was having LA first time virgin pain. He's of like, course. And like guys are going by me on motorcycles, and I'm like 6 inches behind the car in front of me, and we're doing like 80 or 100 depending on the moon.
And he's white knuckling the whole way.
And then a motorcycle comes screaming down between 2 lanes of traffic on the little death bikes, right? He's like, I remember him telling me something to the effect that he hadn't seen traffic like this ever in his life.
Wow.
And that driving in Arkansas, where he came from, was nothing like it. And I didn't say much. I'm going to tell you, by the end of my trip to LA to go to this convention in Palm Springs, I was ready to kill myself that I had to travel and deal with this person as another professional. I took him to, I can't think of the name of this. It's a wonderful steakhouse. It's like the best in Palm Springs. Mm-hmm. So one of the nights I was there going back and forth between ASCAP and BMI reps and a very aggravated and pissed off group of Muzak reps. And the companies that owned the independent Muzak franchises. It was back when the royalties changed. And those companies realized they kind of got thrown under the bus on some of the legal changes that were made to our industry. So I'm out there with this goober from, I hate to call it that, wherever you are, man, I hate to tell you, but you're a goober. I hope you've hipped up a little bit. That needs to come to my training class. I swear to God. If you're out there, brother, I tell you, man, this guy, I'll bring him out to LA. We'll just church him up within a month of the training course. He'll actually be pretty fly for a white guy.
Nice.
And, so you're back in LA, and I can understand. Yeah. I'm sorry I digressed with that, but the difference in New York and LA, I've always said all my life, well, that's when I moved back here from Florida. I said, you know, I know a lot of people. I've got friends and some family, and I just love the city. And I've been living in Florida 40 years. I visit New York, Chicago, wherever I'd go. But I always wanted to be like basically in New York. You know, for a lot of reasons, the radio stations, the food, the culture, the cartage, the musicians, the raw talent, and it's a creative place. Everybody's kind of hustling. And if you can last and crawl out, even if you just have a little niche, it's like you'll be clinging on the rock, but the next day somebody calls you and you got a gig that might save your life for a month or 6 months. And I think you're right, though. The vibe in LA, it's why it still appeals to me like so much. Every time I come out, I'm like, God, I told Lee, I said, when I was up at Lucasfilms getting a training going on, I was like sitting there and I'm going through the whole training, which I'm going to go back to Tampa and use. I'm going, I'm going to go down and talk to the guy in the Foley department, and I'm going to go down to this other guy. There was an editor there, and I'm like running around making friends. I'm starting my networking like the second day that it dawned on me, I want to come here.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm hoping you'll see it in the next year or two. I hope to be doing a show up at Skywalker. And
that'd be amazing.
People like know, if they haven't been there, have you worked there? I have to ask you, have you ever done anything up there?
I haven't, no. I've been, but I've never done anything up there.
Right. Well, if you've been, you get the vibe. Because to me, no matter where you've been and how jaded you are, when you go to Lucasfilms, you just go, I want this.
I know. It's like an adult. Okay, I almost said it's like an adult toy store, and that's not what I meant. It's a toy store. It's a toy. Hold on. That's not what the light savers are for, dagnabbit. It's a toy store, like a paradise for adults.
Absolutely.
To appeal to their inner child is what
people like us,
say.
We are really basically still very childlike. And that's why I think a lot of us, like people think I'm nuts, but I go, I'm not nuts. I just, no matter what's happened in my life, I've chosen to be happy, and I don't give a shit about the past. I look forward. The bad times, I look back and crack up now. And I always tell people when they're going through misery, I'm like, look, man, this will get better, and you're going to hurt, and you're going to ache, you're going to bleed. But man, the sun comes up every day, and the sooner you get out of this funky state, like I've had friends go through divorce, and you know, there's a time where they just got to get over it and realize this is broken. You fucking still feel like you want to be with them, but it's done. It's like a band when people start falling apart and they start talking bad about each other. That's why having civilians don't understand. Keeping a band together, like, say, a legacy act, Toto. Even though those guys were before Toto, they were in the biz and always would have a job. Keeping a band together for 20 years and then being able to pay the bills, have the record company treat you with respect instead of like you're a new band. Hey, we're going to get you all kinds of cool toys, and we're going to sign you a 3 deal. And then, you know, if you don't pop, we're going to drop you, and your record's going to sit in our warehouse forever.
Right. Yeah.
It's a vicious and dangerous industry, but I love it. I just find it all. I just sit back with quiet amusement. All my friends who are really quality people and musicians, when shit gets weird, we're the coolest people on the planet. Yeah. Julie's sitting here watching it, and like when shit gets kind of crazy, the reason she's not on is not because I know she has a bunch of questions for you, but she's always hustling and working all the time. I mean, and everybody I know who's successful, vacations hard for you?
Are
vacations hard for you? Like when you're not working, do you find yourself missing it when you're like taking a break, and then by the end of the vacation you're kind of going, I really want to go home. It's been great, but
what's a vacation?
Yeah, that's the right answer.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't do that. I don't. Well,
Right.
okay, no. To be fair, and to be quite serious, I did take a vacation for the first time in 22, 18. The first time in 18 years, I took a vacation this past Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
But what I found is because, well, so I can say pre-COVID, I can say this.
Right.
My vacations were enmeshed in my touring because for me, as a rule, we didn't like to do one-nighters. So we tried to do old school style, like contract gigs where we were in somewhere for, 3 to 5 days or a week or whatever, theater, resort, whatever it is. That way we had some time to just chill and be and unpack and do laundry on the road is hard.
Oh God,
nobody knows this.
Nobody.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen guitar players leave dirty bags of clothes and then they go to a store and pick up like 20 packs of socks and underwear and then
I've done that coming back.
Keep going,
Yeah.
Like,
that might be a thing for LA. We've just stumbled on a new idea for making cash. We start a company that does laundry for touring musicians on the road, where basically when they sign you up, you go on the road, you have a representative from the company. His life is nothing but, and if we do it, we'll call it the Van Erty.
Let's do it. I dig it.
You know what?
This is called, Neil, this is called diversifying. People have perfume lines and shoes and cosmetics. Why can't we have laundry? Of course we can.
Absolutely.
The world is our oyster, my friend. Absolutely.
Man, absolutely. And a lot of people sit there and go, these two out of their mind. I'll be like, yeah,
we're not.
But we're going to go we're going to look at the number and we're going to go and take as much cash as we possibly can. And you know what? We're going to do it the best so that, like, when I call up, let's just hypothetically pick a name out of the world. I don't know. I get to call J-Lo, heard about our service, and she's going on a 300-city tour, and she wants everybody's tiny whiteys accounted for. There's a lot of logistics. My mind's right now, shitheads talk about, we're going to be rich. How are we going to get rich? I'm going to sit here and make a diagram it out while we're talking, write it on a cocktail napkin, and we're going to call my accountant and talk and say, hey, is there some money you need? Isn't that, you just blew me away. That's why these conversations are so cool. Because you come up with ideas and if nothing, we're just sitting here laughing like we're at a bar hanging out.
Yeah.
You never know. There might be some son of a bitch who's really motivated like we are, who's sitting there on speed dial right now going, my brother is a laundromat. And I'm going to go and we're going to go through some due diligence. And 3 days from now, we're going to see on Billboard ads for this new laundry service. We'll get some really hot chick, some really hottie from LA. And she's like, I'm going to do your laundry. And then I'm going to hire some 80 or 60-year-old Russian woman built like a truck. She not only doubles as your laundress, she actually is a bodyguard for anybody in the building. Your undies and fancy things are safe with Babushka. She's like, no! Some pervert's lurking around trying to steal clothes. I caught you! I love it. I'm already working on staffing. So now we got that part of the world of music covered for the next, as soon as COVID breaks, we're going worldwide, babe.
And think about it. We're creating jobs. We're helping the economy. We're doing our part.
All good things.
Pretty face, my friend.
I love it. I do. So, okay, well, now that we've got our laundry solved, what other problems do you think in the musical? I'll just ask you a funny question. What is the biggest problem in all the years touring other than laundry, which you ever anything else that just drove you nuts or drives you nuts when you're on the road other than laundry and food, like real food?
Honestly, I really, should I say this? Okay, so.
Tell it all. I will absolve you, my son.
So, okay, all right. And I know my brothers and sisters who go on the road, I know they have this too. It doesn't matter. It does not matter what your touring situation is. You can be in a bus, you can be in a van, you can be on a plane, you can be on a train, you can be on a private jet, you can be all in your separate cars. And I guarantee you, if you're a road dog, this has happened to you. There's always one effing member in the band That's a picker. They pick their nose, they pick their face, they do some crazy shit. And
Dr. Pimple Popper.
Yes, and they think you're not looking. And it is the weirdest thing in the world. Look, everybody's human, and God bless, and that's great, and everybody has their habit. Yeah, we have.
I'm so sorry.
But it is so. And I don't care who you are and how big or, small or new or old you are on the journey. Everybody knows that one person that does it. And it freaks me out because
skeeves you, man.
I'm always the one that gets voted to talk to them. Like, I'll go to my road manager and be like, you got to fix this. This is not. And they're like, well, we need to advance these things. You should talk to them because really you're the boss. You should talk to them. And I'm like, I don't want to tell them to stop picking
themselves. Oh, yes. Hey, icky,
yes, that is my one. Like, if you want to be messy on the road, if you want to go pick up some, single person, if you want to go pick up syphilis or a salad or shrimp salad or whatever you want to do, that's
what you're gonna get
on your day off. I don't care. That's up to you. But the two things that I can't. Well, the two things that'll get you fired in my organization are if I find drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Out. Like, we've left people on the side of a road before, literally just been like, bye, thank you for nothing. Yeah, okay. And then the other thing is the picking thing, because the picking thing is just, it's like,
what a lack of self-awareness. If you're somebody like that, most of us, like, occasionally we get an itch or you got a zit that's bugging you. You go in the men's room or the ladies' room and you take care of business. And like, I have to say, you made me think. I always think in comedic terms. This is going to get ugly. In fact, I wish I could have been in Living Color with Jim Carrey.
Great show. Great show.
One of the best ever. And still, if I had the bucks, I'd be bringing it back. Quincy, he was blown away in those years, in my opinion. Saturday Night Live, all these other shows. It was just better. The writing goes up and down in every show and organization. I've been watching Saturday Night Live back to when my parents were like, my stepdad was like, you shouldn't be up watching this crap. So of course, I had my little Sony TV that was this black plastic thing it lasted me all through boarding school, going to life. My kids probably had that in college in the 90s. Still basically worked until digital changed.
Yeah.
So we covered some of the services and icky habits, and I agree with you. It made me think, though, of okay, I'll paint this picture. You've gotten the call. It's like, hey, what's up? Hey, it's Lee, and I've got a gig. We're going to be doing a Streisand session. Would you be into it? Which I would just be like, I got to hold on a minute. Yes. I just happen to have 30 days off next month, and I'd be glad to join you.
Right.
But I'm sitting here in my mind, I'm thinking of shit that would freak me out. If I'm sitting there and I have to say, if I was playing with Barbra Streisand, I'm not celebrity shy or blown away, but if I had to do a session tomorrow for Barbra tonight, I'd be like, oh, fuck. Here's the song. I'm going to sit down and listen to it all night long, or the rough tracks or the score or whatever. And I'm going to be going, fuck. My first time with Barbra Streisand. And then if she came in, went in the control room, was doing icky things, oh my God, I'd be like, this is Barbra Streisand.
Yeah.
Then you have to get into that studio etiquette of like, I can't believe this shit. I was in this session. Barbara, I love you, babe. Please don't take offense. I know you've seen this and probably fired people for far more interesting reasons, but I myself, I'd just be like, I'm not a guy who, if I'm on a job and somebody tells me something, if I saw that, it's one of those things you can laugh your ass off inside and go, ooh, it makes me squirm. You ain't gonna tell nobody that because you've been there, you're being paid very well, and being a good, loyal person. To me, every client we have, I don't care who it is, we're there to get paid. I'm gonna show up on time, sober, and ready to roll. End of story. And I didn't always operate by those rules, but you're in the business. There's so much forbidden fruit available 24/7 that people fuck up. It's fun to fuck up. I mean, for a while, it may not be fun for your bandmates, your relationships. You might just turn into a real fucked up individual that nobody wants to be around.
Yeah.
And then you wonder, why is my career? I mean, it was different in the old rock days. Now, like you said, you don't want some cokehead fucking baked out, wandering around on stage out of key. Yeah, they're rhythmic. I know myself. I've been around the block. I never got into coke because I'm a drummer. That shit messes with your nervous system so bad. Your whole internal clock, and I'll put my clock up with the atomic clock in wherever it is, Greenwich, England. Because when I sit down and we say, I mean, I've been told its tempo is 80 beats per minute. Well, that shit's in my DNA now. I don't even think about it. Like, do you ever get those questions? How do you make it look so easy? It's such a cliche question. And I think to him, I'm like, how did I get here? Like you started at 2, played, had really good fortune, and I'm an excellent player. But a lot of musicians, man, it takes a while. And the young people, I'm not one of those guys who thinks the young kids are there's never going to be good music again. Bullshit. There's always going to be. The old men have been saying the world's going to shit for centuries. They're all dead. The world still goes on. Nobody gives a crap what your opinion is about music.
Right.
I like everything. I mean, I have 60 gigs in my hard drive of everything from classical, Rachmaninoff. I like Stravinsky, The Rites of Spring. I have all the pieces of stuff that I grew up and I love. Then I got all this music that's not what I'm into. It could be from suicidal tendencies to Eminem to Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Toccata, Pictures in an Exhibition. It could be Led Zeppelin. It could be, and when I'm home and my girlfriend isn't like me, if I'm home alone and I'm not talking or working on either on music or a show, I'm working on whatever I'm doing. Sitting here, I've got my 80 gigs of music playing in random repeat, which makes my neighbors sometimes confused. They can kind of like. The other day I had Eminem on. I just like this old song, with the real Slim Shady, Please Stand Up. I love the way the vocal rhythms are in it. It's not what I do. I'm a singer, I'm a rock and roll guy. But since I saw him, I love his timing, his sense of where to put things. And it's an art. I can't do it. I can be pretty funny and make a great parody of a white dude who thinks he can rap, because there are a lot of them out there. It's like, but music is just like, it's the only universal language I know. I was watching the show that I saw you on the other day, and I was hoping they were playing. Remember when I wrote you up and I said, I saw you on this site in Japan with a keyboard player and a programmer, I believe. Sorry, the name
Possibly.
Well, at any rate, it was two Tokyo musicians speaking in Japanese. And the only word I know is like Ohio Geizamusu, can you hand me some sake? I mean, I don't know anything about Japanese. I know about culture. I know about the art. I know it's on my list of places. I want to do what David Lee Roth did. I want to go over there for a year and learn how to draw, the ancient, all the things of the art that, he went over there for 2 years and learned to paint this art form that it's like not many white guys want to go. Also, not many of us have the cash to just trot off to Japan for 2 years, get culturally assimilated enough to even get, comfortable and people trusting and being comfortable with you. Like many countries, we all have our different standards. And I was at Lucasfilms when I met the president of Rotel, and the guy I was with was the owner of a very high-end audio, a lot of celebrity clients, the only game in our town at the time. I was trying to get Rotel as a vendor for our company, so I laid all the groundwork. I've known a lot of Japanese. I grew up in New York. I went to boarding school, diplomats, kids, all that bullshit. So I'm aware of how people are different. And I always respect their opinions. And I'm a reader. I read the back of toilet paper boxes. But what I've read about Japanese culture, I learned that when you approach a businessman, you've got his second. There's a formality and a ritual to it. But my boss I just was cringing because I was there. He made every cultural faux pas, as we call it in America. He just fucked up so bad. The guy I'm talking to, his second, he has no idea what I'm even doing. Frankly, a lot of times he didn't know that I saved his life culturally or business-wise because he's so smart and rich. But his second hands me his business card very formally. He hands it to me. And he bowed, and I looked at it, and I took him, and I just gave him a head nod, and I very reverently took it, and I slipped it into my inner breast coat. Very, very slowly. I didn't just crumple it up and stuff it in my pocket like we do in New York. We're like, oh yeah, thanks. I'll find it a day later in my Daytimer book I crunched up. And so I do that, and I'm thinking my guy is smart enough, being my boss and paying our salary, and we're at Lucasfilm on his dime. Well, I'm expecting him to mirror my actions. Like, what does he do? The president of Rotel looks at him, hands him his card very formally, and LJ looks at it for about a second, sticks it in his back pocket, right?
Right.
Is that your dog?
No, that's a motorcycle outside.
Oh, okay. For a minute there, I thought we had some demonic activity, and we have a paranormal consultant on standby. We could have him run in and do a quick saging. It's one of my other business ideas.
No, unfortunately, there's one of my neighbors is a bike fanatic, and while I appreciate that very much, and I love that we have the outdoor space, he seems to only do this when he knows I'm working. I don't know how he knows this, but he knows this, and then he just goes just back and forth.
It's so funny because, like, my neighbors here, they moved in about 6 months ago, and they're like cute young kids. Mm-hmm. When I see them, I'm reminded of when me and my young wife were like 20. I got married really early. And I remember nerds and how dumb we were. I don't mean that like we were both smart as we were. She's a lovely woman, and we still have, we have beautiful kids. We're friends, and it's all really well done. We have a great relationship. We get together. My girlfriend doesn't care about her. She doesn't care. I got a great family, But it's funny how, how manners are perceived by people. Getting back to this starter, he just stuck it in his pocket, and I'm also trying to maintain my composure. I didn't want to just look at him like, you're not getting it. And I'm just inside, I'm cringing. Yeah. And so my buddy is trying to speak to his boss in Japanese. And I'm in my head making up comedic bits. I'm going, and I'm sitting there going, what the fuck is he saying? I knew what he was saying. He was going, I'm sorry about this mannerless piece of shit standing next to him. Probably. My friend here is a good guy. And, don't take his boss is a fucking gaijin. He's dumb as shit. And he's really dumb. He's an American who's got his head up his ass, because he does. I love you out there. You know who you are, and you also know you're guilty, fucker. So keep it. The complaint department's on the roof. You can go up on the deck and look at New York and, figure out ways to culturally insult people on a daily basis. He was really clueless, but we did not, I have to say, I wished I could have salvaged that deal, because the salespeople, we just love. I'm a salesman for everything. We're a salesman for our life. We're a walking billboard for our success or lack. And he just totally screwed that meeting, and we did not get the Rotel contract. And it pissed me off just because I'd like schmoozed up the guy. I liked the guy I was working with. I knew him from AES shows and NAMM. And I was like, I finally got, this is a sweet deal. I'm thinking I'm going to bring this in. And my boss, after I bring it in, I'm like, hey, I need my car, I need my fucking car upgraded a little bit. I need a few $100 more a month. I decided my old shitbox, now that I'm bringing you money in, and here, let's look at the figures. I need a raise. And he'd be like, well, there's a lot of expenses that you're unaware of. And I'll have to really think about that. And all I can tell you is sometimes when you work with people who are unethical, it takes a while to figure out, because the best thieves are the most silken tongues you'll ever find. Think of a preacher pulling the money out of people's pockets. I jokingly impersonate these folks on the show, because right there, we work by donations, our studio hotline, and you will get a free player card, and I will light your beacon. I'm the freaking deacon. Can you hear what I'm speaking? I got what you're seeking, and it's on the telephone line. Dial now. I want a fucking Rolls Royce, and I'm sorry, Jesus wants me to drive it. Those guys, I love them. I'm like, that is entertainment. To be able to pull that off, for lifetime. Think about it. Some of those parishes, depending on where you live in the country, some of those parishes, they have a pretty wild nightlife. When you're the pastor down there, it's like a license to steal from people. I mean, God. And then you get hyper-industrialized and be a Scientologist. please, my Scientology friends. I dig it. Whatever you've got, I can't afford it, so I'm working on my own religion. That way, I can light people's beacon. I don't know. Are you feeling particularly filled with religious fervor now after that little bit of psychosis?
I'm now wondering about some sort of like you go to, okay, so just hear me out. You go to it's got to be interfaith as far as I can tell. It's a travel church. You go, or travel worship. You're touring. You go to your service. You can have a service Friday night. You can have one Saturday. You can have one Sunday. You drop off your laundry during your worship.
Yeah.
Come out of the service and your laundry has been done.
And blessed by your preferred deity.
Yes.
You know what? I actually think, it sounds like you have Satan in there. It's so cool because of the little modulation. It's actually adding, like, I think you have a demonic possession problem. So we're going to refer the video to John Spear. I'm not kidding you. Listen, Emiko, you may need a thorough cleansing. And I don't mean the fruit juice and shit. No seaweed wrap, none of that shit. This is like...
He's got his ATV out, and he's riding his ATV up and down. Like, what is this fool doing? What is he?
Yell out the window. Let's bring him in. Hey, buddy. Hey, listen, we're going to go to a commercial break. For everybody watching, we're here live with Emiko. This is not the Live with Neve show right now. It's her show. We're going to be right back and talk all kind of fun. And we appreciate you hanging out. I'm way over my poor Julie, my co-host, is sitting there going, can I just shut him up for 5 minutes and get a spot in here? Julie, I can see you out there. See, I'm looking at her. Well, I'm going to bring her back right now since I'm talking to her. Hey, Julie.
Can we go to break? Hey, what's up, girl? You rock that bitch, man. Seriously, that Keytar, you just kill it. I love it. I just love watching you play, man. It's so awesome. But yeah, we have to pay some bills, so let's go to a break really quick, and we'll be right back. Cool?
All righty. Hey, Susan Fine right now is our only watcher, and Susan, thank you for watching. That happens right now. It's like 4:52. Everybody's working or at their home watching something political, or I don't know what they're doing, but they're not here right now. But in about an hour when I turn off, I frequently go, oh man, there's like, I only saw 6 people. And I go out, like half hour later, there's like 50 or 100. And I go, oh, that's pretty cool, And it's funny about the nature of the internet because it's amazing. Like one good interview leads to so many more because people are like, wow, like you're not a household name in the industry. Everybody knows who you are and what you do. But like so many studio people, they're like hired guns, don't get they're civilians. They just don't know what the industry is built on. Lies, cheating, drugs, sex, rock and roll. It's a sordid money pit, but it's where I choose to live and I I swim in it. So, Julie, I'm sorry I'm talking too much. Let's go to a fun.
Did you lose your advertising, Julie?
Questions, comments, click on the chat box.
All right. We are back with Live with Emiko. Yeah. Hey, let me ask you in my typical cultural insensitivity, how do I pronounce your name correctly? Is it Emiko? Okay. Emiko. I was actually Emiko. Yes, Emiko. Emiko.
Right.
Thank you, because I don't want to be like sitting here and every time I call and say, hi, Emiko, and you go, oh my gosh, I've only heard this from this idiot. I have my last name being Van Erdy. Now, right. I know you're familiar with what a Neve console is, obviously.
Yes.
And, I am not trying to be like Prince or Emiko, because I'm just not cool enough. I just know that my name is Neil Ernest Van Erdy.
That works. Neve.
It works. Trying to tell someone how to spell it or pronounce it. People think I stutter when I give them. Yes, let me read this to you. It's Eerde. Is that Fifi Van Ferdy? Yeah, I go through it. So I'm just like, just call me Neve. And if Rupert calls me and bitches, I'm going to go over. I'm going to say, look, Rupert, I'll come visit you at AES. Let's talk, man. I need a deal here. I need a dispensation from the Pope of audio. My name is Neil.
You can offer to do his laundry for him.
I could. And you know what? I know. This idea is so good. I'm thinking about when we own the company, the fact that when we're at home, they're going to be serving us and all of our band members who want to pay that. We can have an upper tier, for the high rollers, like in Vegas. We can offer them expedited service.
Starch pressing the shirt, the whole thing.
Right, and levels of starch determined with a micrometer.
Yes.
I like that. The engineering side of my brain is like, it will be accurately applied density with no changes, no viscosity differences in the mixing. I could get super anal and drive them nuts, but we would have the baddest, slickest fucking laundry and religion service. I mean, girl, I think right now I'm already ordained as a minister of 2 churches. And so if anybody out there right now needs a healing, I'm ready to go. Julie, you look like you need a healing, girl. Let me press my hand against your forehead. That heavy metal shit's going to pour out of every orifice because it's taking over the world then. It's going to be like COVID, fucking the Black Plague, blackest metal band you've ever seen. We're going live now with them.
Oh, so call your new metal band COVID-20? Yeah.
And then not only that, the metal bands on the road not only be getting our laundry, but we can offer black masses. We can offer goat sacrifices. It's kind of like when you're Prince's assistant and you're in LA and at 2 a.m, he gets his friend's phone to call you and say, hey girl, I'm up here hanging out and I got a project I'm starting like 6 a.m. and I just need a couple of things. Okay, get your pad.
Wait, is that Michael or is that Prince?
Yeah,
that's Mike.
Like,
yeah, it went from Prince Michael. Prince is too hard. You have to be
Prince's shirts. What was it? Skins or blouses win. That was a Charlie Murphy bit.
I loved
win.
Prince was a really funny guy, and the people I know who knew him and worked with him, one of my friends said he would purposely goof on his mystique and make fun of himself. Like you did that interview with Maria Bartiromo when she was on MTV, and when he walked in, she was just sitting there, and she's on the Business News Network, sitting there all stodgy reading stock reports now. Back then, she was about 25. Purple Rain was rocking, and when Prince walked in, she was like, oh. And so he just stopped and looked at her, and he goes, hi, I'm Prince. I'll give you a moment you can bask in my glory, and we can get down to the interview. And she was, I got to tell you, man, I can tell the look in that girl's eye said, this son of a bitch is hot as shit. I want to wake up naked in his house tomorrow morning, and I'm going to tell everybody. I'm going to tell my mom when it's over. I mean, I got to tell you.
All pass to end all hall passes. Is that it?
Hall passes on what?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I had a girlfriend and she got a chance to bang Prince, it's a big world. People do all kinds of crazy things. I don't know. I'd have to give her a hall pass on that one. I'd be like, oh, you're finally back from LA. I'm pretty much guessing you're getting your shit and moving back in with Prince because he has better food. I don't know. I can't imagine me living in that little ratty apartment when I first moved here versus, let's see, that big house up on the fucking hill, the one in Malibu or the other one up in wherever he was. I look back and I go, yeah, I'd have to give her some slack on that one. But again, I don't really care. Prince is not here, sadly, and I miss the hell out of him. I love the guy, everything he did, and his legal advice is just always own your shit has resonated with me. And, the only time I ever met him or even had close, I got close enough to go, fuck yeah, man. I had seen him playing at the Tampa Highlight. No, what was it, the Highlight Fountain? No. It's changed names. I think it's called the Staples Center. It's it's the hockey arena in Tampa.
Oh, Amelia
now.
No, whatever.
But I went to the show, and a friend of mine worked as a guitar tech for him. So I called. My band was playing a gig across the street, like for the Prince concert. I was playing like the 6 o'clock till gates open. And I'm like the whole time going, I just got to get out of here. I want to go call my buddy and get the fuck backstage. And hopefully maybe I'll even get him, he's the kind of guy you don't even want to look at him. You're afraid his handlers might, shuttle you out the door and you're out of the arena. But he was a really cool guy. I didn't even notice anything like remotely star-like in how he was behaving backstage with his friends. Now, when he was dealing with press or whatever, he went in immediately into the inscrutable Prince, and he could turn that shit.
Did you just say when he was dealing with press or when he was dealing with breasts?
I think it was probably
when he was dealing with breasts, he went into the inscrutable, and I was like, huh? Did he say press?
You know what? I got to hear this. Your story is far more interesting. It's gotten a little tawdry, and we like that. Are you telling me? I know Prince was a breast man, but did he have some unusual ritual or something I'm unaware of?
I am.
Give us some vague details.
I don't know, and if I did, I would not be at liberty to say.
Okay,
I honestly just heard you. I wasn't sure if you said press or breasts because either way, it's applicable.
I love both of them. I love breasts. I mean, I went in once as a gag to Victoria's Secrets. Like, I would go in there like every other guy at to want to get something special for your girlfriend or, whatever. And I look like all the other guys. I'm looking at this hot chick and I'm trying to pick if she's got the same musculature of my girlfriend. I'm looking at the ass. I'm looking at the art of a woman's body. As the French said, there is no art like a woman. And I agree. But you're in there, and when I don't flinch from much, but buying underwear, I almost feel like it's prurient, even though it's for my girlfriend. I'm free, white, and 18. But I'm like, can you help me? And then some perky, cute girl comes up, and she's like, oh, hi, you're a dumb fuck, aren't you? Don't look at my breasts. My eyes are up here. Oh, excuse me. What am I here for? And then they're like, well, what size does your girlfriend wear?
And you can never give the actual size.
No.
Because then your girlfriend will think that you think she's a cow, but you can't say small because they're cut for like 9-year-olds and it won't fit.
Right. And then it won't fit, and then she's going to be pissed and won't put it on anyway.
Exactly. So you're losing the battle. Just don't go in. Best order for it. Don't go in.
I would like to disrupt here for a second. I want to hear Emiko play some more music. I want to hear her play her guitar. I want her to do her thing.
Thank you, Julie.
Well, I tell you what I'm going to do. Can you guys hear this?
Yes.
Yeah, really, very nicely.
Okay, so this is my Hammond SK1. Since I don't know what to play. Wait. Everybody left again. Why do you guys keep disappearing?
Where are they going?
We're right here.
Here.
I just want to solo you out so everyone can hear fast enough.
Well, I think I'm going to write a song about Neil standing in front of Victoria's Secret right now.
Please do. I love that.
And it's gonna be a serious ballad. I love her so much. And I need to show her what I want. So I go places you cannot touch. I'm noticed now, I'm frightened. I'm frightened. She said, hey, eyes on me. I'm right here where you need to be. She said, hey, where they need to be. I'm sitting alone in the mall. I'm waiting for her just to call. I want to give her this surprise. I want to see her standing there before my eyes. But I'm frightened to ask. Yeah, I'm frightened. I don't want her to find out. Yeah, I'm frightened to ask. I'm frightened. I'm frightened. She said, hey, eyes on me. I'm right here, just where I'm supposed to be. Yeah, she said, hey, eyes on me. I'm right here, where I'm supposed to be.
All right. You know what? I got to tell you, you are so awesome. I mean to tell you. I love it.
That was
You had me
awesome.
cracking up, and now I'm all like, I'm like all emotional, and oh my God.
You saw. I could hear.
I don't know. I was like, what can I pull from and not make Neil into a perv? I was like, well, something sweet.
That's a
Remember, it's not your fault.
a hard task to do. You made it happen.
But the mark of a true professional is being able to just find the nugget and spin it.
Yes, and as soon as I heard what you started saying, I just started chuckling. I went, "This is going to be good."
Well, it works better as a ballad, right? If you're like,
Right.
that's just cheesy and
Neil is Uncle Pervy. He's here to sing a song. He's got a big old pinky, and his hands and feet are long.
Wow. That gives me mixed, horrible visions.
I do. Somebody has to do it.
I went to my sad place all of a sudden.
Come on, I want you to sing a bad song. Give us a naughty, kind of a groovy, like, I'll do a Snoop Dogg thing. Yeah, baby. No, that's something funky.
Julie, I can never unsee that. Just him doing a Snoop Dogg, hey girl.
I can't unsee.
I make Christopher Walken. I'm his stunt double for dancing whenever he's around. Just ask either my wives or girlfriends. I dance
How many wives do you have right now?
Present, uncounted, or unknown, not met yet. No, I have 2 wives actually, and I love them both from a distance. No, my ex-wives, we get along very good, and I love them both. I have been in a relationship for 6 years with the same woman who loves the hell out of me, and most importantly, she's almost as crazy as I am, but she's like the calming influence in my life because I drive her nuts part of the time. Because I'll like come up with some bit I'm working on, and she'll look over there at the couch at me, and she's like, "You ever stop talking or working on some bit?" Here's an example. I'll get some whacked out idea, like we're just sitting here spitballing, and I'll start imitating or writing a bit. And I look over and I'm kind of thinking in my head, wow, she's just gonna fucking crack up. This is really good. And I give it to her, and then she's like looking at me. She's like, what is it that I really loved about you? No, I'm totally kidding. But after hours of it, I know myself. She's like, if she was smart, she'd be looking at me. She'd go, "Neil, look, a squirrel." And I'd go, and she'd pop a Percocet in my mouth, and I'd go, "Sleepy time." I've had friends who did that to me. They're like, "Neil, you're getting a little rambunctious." I'm like, well, what? I've only had 16 Adderall in the past hour. I'm really feeling pretty fucking good. What do you mean?
I'm mellow, man. I'm mellow.
Yeah, I'm chilling.
Yeah.
You can tell my swanky dance steps, babes. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm the next thing. Anybody who knows me knows I am so bad at dancing that the shoes take off and they run out the hallway before I get up. Like
Well,
they see my. Go ahead.
Did you have this? Because I had this. So before I had my son, I fashioned myself to be. I wasn't a dancer, but I fashioned myself to be. I could keep up, right? If I had to, I could keep up. Okay?
Right.
My son was born. I love my child, but I swear to God, that child sucked the rhythm and dance out. Now I dance like this.
You look like me. She's stealing my steps.
Making
This
it work.
is like my thing. And my son looks at me and he was like, can you not like ever do that? Ever? And I was like, well, but Monkey, this is so, he's like, no, just stop.
Don't do that.
He's like, Mommy, just stop, okay? It's
Isn't
okay,
that
Mom.
horrible if you feel like, oh my God, I said this to my parents like how many
I
years
know.
ago? Yeah.
And I was like, I called my dad and I was like, Papa, Monkey just told me that he's like, I've been waiting 40 years.
Oh man, yes, indeed.
Revenge, man. That's all they worry about. They revenge.
Yeah.
My son said to me, he goes, Mommy, you make the music. It's your job to play the music. It's not your job to dance to it.
Oh,
And I was like,
oh, what a burn.
attitude. What's up with this? You know?
You were buying him chicken fingers, the real cheap ones, for a week. Passive aggressive mom. Hey, little bastard, here, have a fish stick. Get out of here. Come play in the traffic, you little shit.
I was like, what? And he's like, Mommy, I love you. You're not a good dancer. You're really bad. And I said, I was like, Oscar, is that polite? And he goes, no, but Mama, you said that honesty is more valuable than politeness. And I was just like, your ass.
I love it. The father in me is cracking up.
35. Go now. Bye. Go.
Bye. Here, have a chicken stick and go outside. Get out of here, kid.
I was like, what is actually happening in my, this is literally like when people, and my manager will tell you, like my best friends will tell you, like my partner will tell you, this is literally how I dance. And everybody's just like, oh no, she's doing it again.
You're grooving, man. You're grooving. You're keeping up with the beat and rhythm and you're moving. It doesn't, I mean, what's the problem?
I only have two dance moves. I have this one, right? And then I have like that one, which apparently moms are not allowed to do this in public, much less on air, which is
I guess it's 280s or 90s. So
I don't know. Yeah. And
the night of the Roxbury.
My poor child is going to disown me. He's going to be like, I can't. Oh, that's okay. That just made it better. Okay. Neil has graciously thrown himself in front of the bus and has fixed everything just now.
Now everybody, hey, wait a minute. There we go.
All right.
Do what you say.
It's so
Hey, baby, how about this? Well, all right, look at this.
Keep it on the right side of the camera. Stupid
I
mirror
know.
image thing comes there every freaking time. Oh my God.
Hey, baby, how about you play us a funk song since you're getting this funky ass dance moves going?
Yeah, come on, girl, play some.
Come on, give us some Rick James, sis.
James.
Rick James, sis. Sis, not bitch.
I'm just gonna. All right, this isn't funky. This is soulful though.
Okay, we'll do soulful.
Is this too loud? I can't tell. Neil, where are your drums when I need them?
Boom, ah, boom, cha, boom, cha, cha, boom. Now, hey, get up on your feet now. Get up.
Oh my
Get
goodness.
up now, people. Now we're gonna kick it in. All right. Now I'm gonna dance a funky ass Prince move that's gonna kick your ass.
There it is.
We got some funky shit in the house tonight. We got MC Emiko. She's rocking it up. So now that we've descended into that, I have to ask you, may I have pleasure of using your song again to tell people that Emiko loves me so much she wrote a song just for me called the Pervy Song.
Yes, that's fine.
Somehow, the more this interview goes on, the more I like you. You're gonna, I just, We're going to get along great. I know now why Bruce speaks so highly of you. You're great fun, man. And I love Bruce. He's one of the smartest people I know. And I say that because he's one of my teachers at school. And a lot of people, I will tell you, back in the day when I went to Full Sail, people were like, oh, you're going to go to Full Scam. They'd rag on the school.
Right.
I went there and I was like, you know what? I've been playing music since I was fucking a kid. I'm in here and there's some excellent knowledge to be had. I went there to learn synclavier programming.
Oh, nice.
And I ended up, but now like our laptop, we do this shit at home. But back then, that synclavier, 120,000 starting, took up the room with hard drives and glyph drives and FM sequencer, an FM synthesizer, a sequencer, and a digital recorder and sample recorder.
Right.
Now you're sitting here. Let me ask you, let's get into gear porn before we go out. I'd like you to play one more song, but what are your favorite modules right now? And then after that, if you would play another tune and we'll roll out of here.
Well, okay, gosh. Oof. This is a tough one. So I use a lot of, depending on the situation, I do a lot of soft synth work and sound design work. I design most of, if not really all of, but most of my own sounds are all pre-done. Like before you ever hear them, I'm sitting there twiddling.
Yeah, right. They're all tweaked and.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously Hammond organ, obviously Alesis. Arturia is another favorite of mine.
Oh, I love their stuff. Yeah.
In terms of, and I love Arturia because I think if I can't get my hands on a Moog or an Oberheim, then Arturia I feel will bring it home in a way that makes a lot of sense for me.
Absolutely.
So that's what I use in terms of keyboards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think what else. Otherwise, I have a great microphone company that takes really good care of me called Mannheim Mics. They're all handmade.
Oh, nice. Is that what we're hearing right now?
No, because that mic is set up for vocals, which I have to do this afternoon for a session. But I can.
For everybody watching,
this is
we're
what
talking. Oh, yes. Very nice.
It is a custom job. It is.
I just want to hear it, or use it and fondle it. And
it's great.
That sweet spot when you lean into it and you're just like, you just hear it in your phones and you go, oh shit, it makes me sound way better than I ever do.
Yeah.
Because it's just so, you can work a mic like that. And it's just such once you find that spot, it's like, ooh, you've familiar with the term frisson.
Yeah.
It's where you hear music. I've experienced that many times. First time I saw a symphony in New York, Rockefeller Center, I think that was the first time. I was in the class, a bunch of kids, and I was just like, I was quivering. It was weird. And I hear people, they go, I never quiver listening to music. Well, I'm like, well, you live a boring life. You don't probably quiver very much ever.
Yeah, right? There you go.
I mean, that's sort of, you got a personal problem. Come to my training school. I'll teach you how to be a man about town. I'll make it so you're so cool, dude. You'll have your own entourage. You'll have your wiener roast. You'll have a couple of drug friends who can hook you up with, they're on speed dial, man. They deliver it to your condo.
And your laundry's always clean.
Laundry's clean. Listen, we're going to keep it. It's not going to be illegal, immoral, or fattening. We're going to have black masses for the religious. The summers will be busy in Northern Europe for all the metal bands. I'll call up my friends in Cannibal Corpse, get them the first sign on. Remember, some of those guys all have to ride on one bus,
right?
On the tour. And I mean, I'm not like a guy. I like to hang with my friends. I'm not riding around the country on buses at all. But when I do and have done and been with friends traveling, I just want to sit and hang and eat food and make jokes and kind of be that guy who's just always awake and alive. And sometimes you just have to go, kneeling. Seconds later, in fact, we have a character on the show called Dead Neve.
Oh, goodness.
Hi, I'm Rick, and I'm here to talk to you about Live with Neve. Oh, maybe it's not Live with Neve. He doesn't look so good. Well, it's Live with Dead Neve. And then I jump up and I go, I'm not dead. You're Live with Neve. And
oh my gosh, is this done with puppets by any chance? Like, is it
No puppets. No, I'm more of a hands-on guy.
Okay.
This is descending rapidly into the toilet. I think you have a naughty mind, Emiko. I thought you were so sweet.
Clearly, I do. My son's gonna kill me. He's gonna be like, "You danced on camera again, mother."
You gotta stop that. That's how, Mom. I'm gonna want to go live with Manny. I want to go live with Mom and your grandma. I love Mom and you dance too much. Grandma loves me. She'll be sweet. I'm her favorite. Mommy, Grandma says, I don't have to do that. She's going to talk to you about it.
Oh, yeah. I get that a lot.
Right.
A lot.
Well, how about you write us a song about your lovely son?
You want me to write one or you want me to play one?
Either one.
Well, here's the song. This is the song I wrote for him. This is the closing track off of my latest record called LA After the War. And I think this is really, I think any parent can relate to this. It's about always being there for your kid, right?
Absolutely.
It's called Fighting Underwater.
All right.
When the chips are down and the world's against you and their backs are turned and nobody's there to hold your hand and you're reaching out. No one can see you till the tears come out. One by one, little by little, faster and faster. I'll leave the light on. I'll leave the light on. I'll leave the light on. For you, for you, for you. Wide awake and the clock is ticking and you're reaching out. Blackest night and drowning in the darkness. Just remember this: I am calling out your name against the odds, and it feels like I'm floating underwater. I'll leave the light on. I'll leave the light on. I'll leave the light on. For you, Just because you cannot see it doesn't mean a thing. Just because it hasn't happened doesn't mean that it's not happening. Wide awake and the dark into me, and no one's around to notice that you're dreaming out loud and you're reaching out. Not reaching for you. Just remember this. Just remember this. I'll leave the light on. 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 I'll leave He's muted. You guys, Neil's muted. He's still muted.
I'm here.
There he is.
What time is it?
That was great. That was beautiful. You did an amazing job. Thank you so much.
That's so lovely. I want to hear your recorded version now because you really, all back to you. Thank you so much for being on with us. I have like so many more questions that I hope you'll come back sometime. We can talk about some of the films and then some of the shows we do, just little short ones where like I'll just talk, like we'll talk about like, oh, just for the gearheads, like amongst us. We just tell people who are civilians like, oh, this is what a sample is. Like sometimes they think, oh, here, yes, Mr. Vannerty, can you please pee in this? We need a little urine for you.
On that note,
it's a Yeti. It's a typical urine sample cup.
Julie, why is he allowed out in public unsupervised?
I don't know.
I'm not.
Because I'm in
Bye-bye,
Tampa,
everybody.
New York.
You've been live with Neve,
Thanks,
the lovely
Emiko.
Emiko, and the lovely and talented Julie. And me, my name is Gordon. Have a nice day. It's Live with Gordon. We're gone.
Goodbye.
Live with Neve, Fridays on the East Coast from 10 a.m. to